Ranjanji, to you, as Prashantji has said, scaling up. Now, Walt Disney has centers all across, or Disney worlds are all around the world. So, from the vantage point that you are in, how does one replicate the quality? But more importantly, how does one, as an individual and as the institution or as an organization, replicate the experience? To replicate experience is not easy. So, what's the mantra that you can share, which everyone can learn from?
Uh, it's I think it's coming back to like defining those processes to make sure that, because quality is not something that we can just just have somebody just take care of it without having a certain framework. It has to be repetitive. It has to be consistent to give that same experience, whether you are sitting in Hong Kong, whether you're in Paris, or whether you are in Florida Park. The magical experience that we talk about when a consumer enters the market, or when a person is watching a Disney Plus movie, that experience, the set of guidelines, the criteria, that needs to be defined. And obviously it's not just like a one-time deal. It needs to continuously evolve as the audience is evolving. So when Disney started, hundreds years back, the processes that were put in place, the audience at that time is not the same audience that we have today. Disney Plus didn't exist 2 years back, right? So obviously a lot of things have evolved, and Disney Plus 2 years back, it was very different than the Disney Plus we see today. So not just putting the processes around that, but continuous evolving based on how industry is evolving, how our consumers are evolving, will make sure that we are in this journey of evolution around the quality. We continue to provide that to our end consumers.
Sure.
Can I add a point, JJ? So I
Sure,
just
please.
joined Accenture this Wednesday, last Wednesday. Accenture is now a 550,000
Wow.
people organization. So that's the scale.
Mm.
And somewhere when you become that big, you have to rely on processes, and you, at the cost of losing bit of agility. And that's the challenge any large corporation has. Prior to Accenture, I was in American Express. Amex is 170-year-old organization. Very few examples of Fortune 100 companies who have sustained this many years. And when you work in so many countries for so many years, you have to rely on consistent experience. You have to rely on delegation of decision making. Because if at all there was an entrepreneur, you can decide yourself, you can rely on gut, but somewhere you need to trickle down on decision making, and then you rely on systems, processes. And that's a challenge for a large corporation to be nimble. And I think that technology is the only way. And that's what my 3 days I've been pretty impressed with Accenture, that technology enabled processes that can drive scale. And I guess that's the learning for all of us, that to drive scale, delegate downward, but rely on technology enabled processes. That's my learning.
Sure.